Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Look, the drug game in the penitentiary, it's a big game, right? But see, what a lot of people don't understand is like drug dealers that come to prison, when they come to prison, that don't necessarily mean that they stop doing what they were doing on the streets to get their bread, right? They leave somebody else in charge to make sure that everything is going to be worked out and stuff so they can continue to make moves. But mainly, the person that they trust the most, if they trust anybody, is the person that they were with when they left the streets, right? Now, you got your wives and girlfriends and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? But you also got whoever it was, your lieutenant, second in command, whatever they want to call it, right? That was in charge of the business while you were out there, but you just leaning back because you got the plugs. Now that same individual is in charge of the business while you in there. And the wife becomes the go-between. She's the one that makes sure that all the numbers are being calculated the right way and adding up. She's the one that's coming to visit you and letting you know that the lieutenant or the second in command, whatever they want to call her, is getting their bread. But see, let me tell you something. See, while that's going on, you got a lot of officers that be trying to find a way in to get that money, right? See, but at the same time, they don't want to be bringing stuff into the penitentiary. They like the job that they have. But see, they have a lot of animosity in their heart. And sometimes it's not even about the animosity. It's just looking at a situation and seeing an opportunity to get some money. And there was this one officer, man. Look here. It was a female, too. Officer Smith. That's what we're going to call her, right? You know, I'm never going to put no real name on nothing because, you know, people get mad and all that old kind of stuff. But I want y'all to know this really happens. I'm telling you, this really happens, okay? This is female officer, her name, Officer Smith. She been working in the penitentiary for like 8 years, 10 years or something like that, right? Dedicated, loyal, follow the rules and all this and that. But she would see these drug dealers when they go to visit, and the females that they would be with or the individuals that come to see them, they all dressing good, looking good. I'm talking about got on the latest clothes, driving the latest cars, doing it real big. And then the individual that they're coming to visit, he's sitting in the penitentiary with the dress blues on, right? And Officer Smith would look at them and be like, sort of jealous. But why would a person that's got a legitimate job, making legitimate money, making a contribution to society, be jealous about what somebody else got? Other things going on in her life. Life ain't working out with her man. She's on her third dude. He wants to get married, but she's cautious about getting married because she's tried it before. It didn't work out. Once you say yes, the things start to change. You understand what I'm saying? She's got 2 kids, and one of them is in high school. The other was in junior high. She's thinking about down the road, will they be able to go to college because both of them are smart. One's a boy, one's a girl. They're playing basketball, playing football, athletic. They got aspirations for life. Mama doing it with a boyfriend, don't want to get married, so mama want to try to figure out how she can do it on her own. And it's all about timing. It's all about timing. That's when a person decides to go against that moral compass, it's usually because things are happening, pressure's building, and the things that they've tried in the past, they just don't make sense for the situation that they find themselves in now. And Officer Smith, you know, found herself in a situation because when kids get older, it takes more money, right? You think when they're younger, it takes a lot of money, but a lot of the stuff that you do with them when they're young, you know, yeah, you got the little pee-wee games and all that old kind of stuff, and you buy them toys, different times for the holidays and Christmas and stuff like that. But when they get older and they develop these social circles, now you got birthdays, their friends' birthdays, the sporting events and all of this, and it takes money to do that. And if your income is not increasing, you got to find a way to get them there. You don't want to deprive them of those things. You feel what I'm saying? Especially when you consider yourself to be middle class or solid upper middle class, whatever the case may be. It's all about status. And why should the kids suffer? That's how Officer Smith is thinking. And then these are drug dealers. So when the idea popped into her head, it's like, I need to get some of that money they got. But see, Officer Smith wasn't the type of female that would bring no drugs into no prison. But Officer Smith was also a smart female. So she sat back and she watched for a while, trying to figure out how she can ease her way in to the dope game with these dope boys and get some money. And she concluded, let me start to watch them and see. And I'm not talking about the inmates in the penitentiary. She know where they're at. She can see them when she's at work. She's talking about watching the people that come to visit them. Oh yeah, oh yeah. She started on her off days watching them. How would you know where these individuals live? Well, when they do visitation forms, all the information is on there. The address and the phone number and all this and that, right? So she figured out a way to find out where they were by following them home one day, you know? She got off work early, but she was waiting in the parking lot for the visitation to end. And when the visitation ended, she followed this one inmate's wife all the way back to her house. Clandestine, of course. She didn't know she was being followed, but she followed her to the house. Once she got there, she took some pictures of the house, made sure of everything, took some pictures of the car, made sure that this is the right person, you know what I'm saying, that she needed to be following. And then after that, when she couldn't do it all the time because she's got a job, but when she could, she was out following her at night, following her different times of the day, trying to figure out her pattern, trying to figure out where is the money. How do you figure that out? You gotta watch them. You gotta watch them. See, once the police arrest the main person in the game, the dope boy, they kind of go on and fall to the wayside. But see, Officer Smith, she had a friend, another female that worked in the police department, right? And she was on patrol. And her area was right in the area where the dope boy's wife lived. So they were watching her. She brought her in on the move. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to get them some money together on the low. Let me tell you how they're going to do it. Just stick with me. I know I'm dragging it out, but y'all got to stick with me now, so I'm going to give it to you. Listen to them. So they watching her. When Officer Smith couldn't watch, the police was watching, her friend. They were trying to figure out where she went, who she talked to. And then they started to put the puzzle together based on the other individuals that were coming to visit this dope boy, his lieutenant, his second in command. So whenever he left the prison, Officer Smith, she did the same thing that she did to his guest. She followed him, found out his address, passed that information on to her female friend that was in the police department. Now she's watching both of them. And whenever they both got together, she would call Officer Smith and let her know, they meeting at the Applebee's. They meeting over here at the IHOP. You know what I'm saying? At different times of the month. And every time when they would meet, they exchanging bags, right? You know them shopping bags, they don't really look like nothing. It's just brown paper sack, got the little part where you hold it on it. You know what I'm saying? So they would exchange those, and the female would always put them in the trunk. They would put it in the car. Put it in the trunk where it's locked up and it's safe and secure. And when she did that, she always made sure when she got ready to put the stuff in the trunk, Officer Smith observed her one time taking it, putting it in a lockbox, locking it, and putting that up under the tire in the trunk, and then rolling out. Why would you take that much time to secure something like that? Had to be some money or some drugs, you know? So when Officer Smith had got enough information about what was going on with the dope boy's gal, one of the dope boys anyway, when she found out enough information about what his girl was doing and how she was doing it, she decided to take a shot in the dark. Because she didn't see what was in the bag. She didn't know for sure. She was just making a guess that must be when she's dropping off the money. No way to know if any of that is true. So she took a shot in the dark. She's at the penitentiary one day and she's talking to the dope boy, right? He had to come to the desk to get some stuff. So she said, you enjoy your visits when your wife comes up to see you? And the dope boy always looking for an opportunity. You know how they do, y'all. He always looking for an opportunity. He thinking Officer Smith trying to come on to him. He's like, why? You trying to come visit me? And she looked at him and laughed. She said, no, I ain't even on that. I was just commenting about your wife coming to visit you. You know what I'm saying? And all that kind of stuff. She must be holding it down for you while you're in here, right? So the dope boy, not still understanding what's really going on, he indulges the conversation. He's like, yeah, you know, my baby take care of the business for me. You know, I still get my money, right? Boom, ding, 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 ding. Just told on itself. You feel what I'm saying? Because he didn't really understand. Trying to brag, thinking he finna get her, he give up some information, what she needed to confirm what was really going on. So she hit him back and she said, look, let me tell you something. She said, while you out there got that girl doing that and you sitting up in here, she taking all them risks. What if she get caught? Now, he indulged that conversation because, you know what I'm saying, it was a sister, right? He indulged it. Plus, he think he finna try to get in her panties. You understand what I'm saying? So he looks at it. He said, look, she know the risk. She getting, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is she want. But that's my baby. She ride or die. She taking care of the business for me. He's telling Officer Smith everything she needs to know. So she says, okay, we're going to end this conversation for right now, but you need to check yourself before something bad happens. And he told her, ain't nothing bad going to happen. I got this on lock. She said, okay, we'll see. So she gets home later on that afternoon. When she gets off work, she calls her female friend on the police department, and then they get to strategizing about what it was that she was told by the dope boy that was in the penitentiary and laying it all out, right? So they don't want to take this to the police. They're not trying to get them busted, y'all. Listen to me. They trying to get paid. You understand what I'm saying? And I know y'all don't want to hear that. A lot of people out there might not want to hear that, but I'm telling you, the game gets dirty and grimy, and people want to muscle in on it, right? And they just want that piece of it. So check this out. So now, Officer Smith, she's at visit one day when the female comes. So she bumped down on him. You know, the officer's always walking over to the tables where we might be at, right? She bumped down on him. She said, how you doing today? She's speaking to him and the female. And then the dope boy, he introduced her, yeah, this is Officer Smith, you know what I'm saying? The one I was telling you about, all up in the business and stuff like that, right? So the female, not understanding what's going on either, she like, hey, how you doing? You know, I heard you was talking to my man about this, that, and the third. Let me know when you want to try to get some of this money. So they both looking at her, trying to see for any sign that's going to let them know she with it, right? Because, you know, they always looking for somebody that can help them, especially somebody in law enforcement. But they not really thinking about the flip side of things. You understand? So check this out. She said, nah, I ain't on that. I just feel like, you know, you out there doing what your man wants you to do, taking all of these risks. You might need to be careful. Because if something goes wrong, then what you gonna do? What you gonna do? How you gonna take care of that? She said, I ain't doing nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting a little money here and there. I ain't moving nothing like that. She said, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. But the other day, I saw you at the IHOP going in the trunk. Both of them eyes got real big. You know what I'm saying? And they looked at her, and they were like, what you mean you saw me at the IHOP? Well, I saw you at the IHOP the other day. You was putting a bag in the trunk. You just finished meeting the dude that used to come up here to visit him. You know what I'm saying? I just thought they was curious, and they concerned me woman to woman. Like, she hitting her like that. So the female, she look at the dude, and she tell the dude, she said, look, you need to take care of that. You need to do something about that. So Officer Smith said, look, we'll talk about that later. I'm going on. You ain't got to worry about me. I ain't got nothing to say. I'm just saying you need to be a little bit more careful about what you're doing. So she goes back to the counter, and then after the visitation, the dope boy said, look, when you come back to the unit tomorrow, I need to holler at you. She said, okay, I sure will. So the next day, she goes back to work. She goes to the unit. She's talking to the dope boy. The dope boy said, look, about what you said yesterday, you following my gal or something like that? She was like, what if I am? What you gonna do about it? You can't do nothing about it. You're in the penitentiary. And then he hit her like everybody do. I have somebody reach out and touch you. Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about none of that. Somebody bumped down on me. I got mine. You better have yours. You feel what I'm saying? Don't play no games with me. Plus, you think I come by myself? You think what I'm saying to you is something I found out by myself? No, I got friends. You feel me? If you say anything or do anything that I don't like, I'll make sure that your girl ends up in jail. And I'll make sure you end up with some more time. And see, let me tell you something about a bullet. See, a dope boy is a bullet, right? When you hit a bullet in the nose, they back up. Back up. See, when they got the ups on you, they feeling all cocky, they talking loud, and all this expressions with their hands and all this and that, right? But when you got them, they don't know how to deal with that. They don't know how to take that. So she looking at him, looking for any sign of weakness, and she's seeing it all over his face. So she continued to push. She said, let me tell you this. You want everything to stay the way it is? You got to break me off. You got to break me off. He said, what you mean by that? Because immediately, because he's a man, his mind went straight to sex. He said, whenever you want it, you can get it. And she was like, nah, I can get that from home. I don't need that from you in here. What I need from you is some of that money. You let me get some of that money. Now, he really thinking, oh, she want to work. Nah. That's not what she's talking about either. You want her to keep her mouth shut, you're going to have to pay her. That's what she's trying to tell him. Because it's obvious what he's doing. So he said, look, I'm not finna give you nothing. If she get caught, she get caught. She said, okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. And then you're going to come back and change your mind. But when you come back and change your mind, after I show you what I'm about to show you this week, then it's going to cost double. Right now, I want $1,000 a month. That ain't nothing. You can afford that. $1,000 a month. But if you don't do that now, agree to that now, it's going to be 2. And I'm going to show you this week what I'm talking about. Now, see, he don't know she got a female friend that's a police. She's a patrol officer. All they got to do is watch her. They can bump down on Gal anytime. So he called her bluff. He said, man, do what you got to do. But you ain't finna make me give you nothing. Not now nickel. He ain't going for that. So check this out. A couple of days into the week now went by. Old Gal, she's still listening to her dude. He ain't really telling her what's going on because he can only tell her during the visit. He can't talk to her on the phone like that. You understand what I'm saying? So she still go by the IHOP, pick up the pack, put it in the trunk, and when she pulling off this time, guess what? Whoop, whoop. Police pull over. It's old Gal. She pull over, and now she spooked. She leaned in the car. She asked her. She said, may I see your driver's license and registration? She hands it out the window to her, right? She's looking at it. She reads the name. She said, okay, I got your name here. She said, let me give you a message, and I'm going to let you go. That what you got in the trunk? I'm going to let you keep that this time. I'm going to let you keep that this time. But you need to tell your man he need to do exactly what Officer Smith told him he needs to do. So Gal's eyes got real big and looked at her and said, what? She said, handed the ID and a registration, said, you have a nice day. And then police officer walked back to the patrol car. Now, you keep in mind, they didn't have them body cams and stuff like that back then, right? They ain't had it. So that whole conversation was not recorded at all whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? So Gal pull off. She waited on the phone call that night from her dude. When he called, she tell him, she said, look, we need to talk. I got pulled over today. Now, she don't want to go into detail about it because she know the phone calls are being recorded when he talks to somebody from the penitentiary. So he said, excuse me, you got pulled over? Yeah, I got pulled over, she said. And what happened? She let me go. She let me go. She told me that this was the only time it was going to happen. The next time, I was going down. Unless you did what you were supposed to do. He knew exactly what she was talking about. He knew exactly what she was talking about. So it spooked him. He said, look, we'll talk about it at visit. Now, this was on a Thursday. A couple of days later, they go to visit. He running it down to her and visit what Smith told him. Now, she running it down to him what the patrol officer told her. Now they sitting there trying to figure out what to do. But now, instead of it being 1,000, it's 2. See, the officer and the CO was going to split 1,500 apiece. Now they're going to get 1,000 apiece. That's just the business. So he looked at Smith. She's sitting up there at the desk right there at the visitation. He motioned for her to come over to the table. She come over to the table. She said, and? He said, okay, look. This is what we can do. I can give you that 1,000. She said, I told you the other day. You don't give me the 1,000, you're going to have to give me 2. It's just what it is. He looked at her. He mad. I'm talking about mad as fish grease. But he went on and agreed, and he gave it to her. He gave it to her. So after the visit, she go home. Smith tell her, you know what I'm saying, later on, because she stopped by the house, pick up the money. She said, look, this every month. Don't be late one time. You late one time, and you going to jail. It's as simple as that. She said, yeah, I ain't going to be late. She said, but you ain't got to be doing it like that. It is what it is in the dope game, y'all. Ain't no rules in it, right? So she got this money. She's straight. Now she's starting to think, okay, I can do this over and over. But see, the individuals that she was trying to pump up on now, other than the one dope boy she already got, these dudes getting their money in the penitentiary. So when she bumped down on them, it's a different conversation. It's a whole different way to maneuver with them. But she's feeling herself. She wants this money. Because now she can help do the things that her kids want. She ain't got to worry about that. That's extra money right there. She can do all the things she wants to do with them. And she can put that money up so the time comes that they want to go to college, she going to be able to do that. She got big plans, y'all. If you want to know how big her plans are, you're going to have to tune in to the next episode, right? It's coming up, right? You know how I'm doing it. 2 a day. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.